Well, good evening, folks, and thanks very much for watching. It's Thursday, 20th of June, and we've been looking very closely at the short-term weather across the UK today. We had a Glastonbury forecast earlier, and we've also had a weather today, so check those out. And tonight is the July outlook. We're going to see how things shaping up for July across the United Kingdom. Now, we have July updates every single week, so come back next week, next Thursday, we'll have another July outlook, and then the final July forecast, I should say, will be issued on the first day of July. So very interesting, and we're up to the July forecast. So today we're having a look at the South Korea model and also the CFS model. Later in this week, or through towards next week, we have a look at the Beijing Climate Centre, the MGO, and other seasonal models and see what they're seeing as we go through towards the July period, as we build up a picture to how July conditions may shape up across the UK. So very, very interesting forecast there. Let's get on with it. And this is a forecast from the South Korean model, and the South Korean model breaks it up into three parts. So it's broken up into early July, mid-July, and late July. And this is a picture as of early July. It's got low pressure across many parts of the country. It's going up through Scandinavia, the polar vortex through the UK. Cool conditions with this, with low pressure across the country. I just noticed that we start to ridge high pressure across all these western areas of the country, so it's trying to nourish these best conditions into more far western parts of the country. And those of you that tuned into the summer forecast will know that we was hinting at this theme of high pressure trying to get in from the west, but always a very, very difficult scenario, and always bringing in these areas of low pressure. Now, just zooming through to the mid-July forecast. This is a forecast for mid-July, just zooming across there. And this is a chart for mid-July. As I said, the South Korean one breaks up into 3 monthly steps into intervals. So this is the mid-July forecast. Again, it's got low pressure across the country, but notice the position of the high is Azores high look, stretching up, trying to ridge into these far southwestern parts of the country, but during all this period, still got that low pressure influence, still got those fronts, and still got that low pressure jet streams driving through the country, and it's unsettled conditions here. But again, starting to try and ridge in high pressure across these far southwestern parts of the country. And now just zooming over to the late July forecast on the bottom of the screen here. This is the forecast for late July from the South Korean model. Again, it's got low pressure across many parts of the country. Look, the area of low pressure stretching up through many parts of the country, cool and often showery, especially in the northeast of the country, with high pressure starting to ridge from the west. And notice it's very, very important during the July forecast, the South Korean model saying it's always got low pressure close to the country, especially towards the north and also east of the country, and it's always trying to build in high pressure, especially towards these far southern parts of the country, trying to reach into the south of the country. So again, it's this idea of trying to build in high pressure from the west and the southwest, but we've always got this influence of low pressure, especially towards the north and northeast of the country. As I said, that's what's been indicated from the South Korean model. It's not necessarily what's going to be happening for the July forecast. Now, looking at the CFS version 2, we'll say this time and time again, the CFS version 2 is very, very unreliable. It's not like a usual which issues its forecast every month. The CFS version 2 issues its forecast daily, so it's very, very unreliable. It's got to be treated with a lot of salt. Lots of salt, so it's very important that you keep an eye on the forecast. You monitor it daily and try and pick out the trends of what it's saying consistently, and then you can try and build a picture of what the CFS version 2 is indicating. But even with the CFS version 2, it's hard to even say what the CFS version 2 is indicating at, even though it gives its forecast, because it just gives its forecast daily and often becomes jumbled up. But we have seen consistency from the CFS version 2, and as I say, when you see consistency, that's when you can start to take things more seriously. And again, it's trying to build in high pressure to these far western parts of the country, and always bringing this low pressure trough area across the eastern seaboard. And another one just trying to be indicated through the parts of Scandinavia, so trying to build this head up with a ridge, trying to pull in from the south, but always got these areas of low pressure, especially towards the north of the country, that jet stream to the north of the UK. Now, this is CFS version 2 forecast for precipitation for July. Interesting thing with this is precipitation is fairly below normal. It's fairly dry across the UK. And you see you've got high pressure trying to bridge in from the west. That's what's bringing out warmer weather, or I should say, drier weather across many southwestern parts of the country. As I say, with this sort of setup, we see more of the southwesterly flow across the country. And that means in July, temperatures stay near normal, or perhaps a tad cooler than normal in places. So with a southwesterly flow through summer, you see temperatures often near normal, but again you see dry conditions, especially towards these more southern parts of the country. Notice the near normal values across parts of Scotland, and these near normal to slightly above normal values across parts of Greenland and also Iceland, indicating this westerly flow across the UK, and trying to build in ridges across the world, trying to influence these dry conditions, but always keeping in these areas of low pressure, areas of cooler conditions, wetter conditions across many parts of Europe. That's just indicating that this area of low pressure trying to set up across the Mediterranean. And those of you that do tune into CastAndOtherWatch.com regularly will know that we had this focus of the Mediterranean seeing wet conditions and cool conditions. It looks like we could see that through the summer months now. Cool conditions through the Mediterranean, often wetter conditions here as well. So thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to check out tonight's blog, grab a cuppa, and join us at tonight's blog, the surprise blog at 9 o'clock, and our other blogs too, our Glastonbury forecast and also weather we're updated tonight. So thanks very much for watching. Confidence for this forecast is such a long range forecast is fairly low to moderate, although current indication indicates a high pressure trying to reach in from the west, especially from the southwest, with low pressure especially towards the north of the country, with jet stream hanging around somewhere to the north of the UK. And it looks as though southern parts of the country, especially southern and western parts of the country, the driest weather through July, but it's very, very uncertain. So thanks very much for watching, and see you later. Don't forget to tune in to 9 o'clock tonight. We'll have the July blog on the post section of castingwatch.com. Thanks very much for tuning, and see you later.